man.
Rest or sit! Okay, so asking for that right, that basic human right, put us on the list of the 35 top job killers by who?
Chamber of Commerce!
The Chamber of Commerce! The Chamber of Commerce said that if we give people basic human rights, we'll kill jobs!
I'm not giving jobs, instead taking them!
And the League of Cities opposed our bill. Why? Why did they oppose our bill?
They don't want to pay for water. They don't want to pay for better.
Classist! Yeah!
Okay, but they said they didn't know what to do about homelessness, and this was a tool. This was their only tool to address homelessness, was to arrest people and put them in prison, take away their civil liberties because they needed to sleep. That's what they said. Arresting people for being sleepy or needing to sit down doesn't solve homelessness. Homes solve homelessness. You guys brought this message to Sacramento last year in AB 5 with your partner, Assemblymember Amiano, and that bill got out of the policy committee with enough support to move forward. It got held in a committee for finances. Apparently, it costs a lot of money to guarantee people basic human rights. There should be no amount of money that should be too much in order to make sure every human being has basic human rights.
So prisons are
The good news is we're not stopping. We're not stopping, and I'm excited to share the mic with the next speaker here who's going to talk about what's happening across the state to bring our own Bill of Rights. If they won't pass a Bill of Rights, we'll bring our own on the street.
People, how many of you people went to Sacramento last year? Sacramento that we needed our Bill of Rights. That was the best part of my life last year. We have to keep doing that. We as a state and also as a West Coast are continuing to work together. We don't need to have a bill that's introduced by a politician because we all know what rights we need, what rights we're being denied, and we know exactly what to ask for. We're never going to solve homelessness if we keep arresting people who are homeless for simply existing. Woo! We are continuing our campaign across the state and across the West Coast to talk in every single community and to grow the number of people that we have that are supporting us. I don't know if anybody here has ever had a dog as a pet. When you train your dog to sit, does he sit the first time you tell him to sit? What do you have to do? You have to tell him to sit and show him how to sit and do it again and again and again, and finally when you say sit, that dog sits.
That's why they're called politicians.
That's what we have to do with our politicians. It's not going to work the first time, the second time. We have to tell them and show them and keep going back and never give up. And that's what we're going to do until we get the rights that we need codified into law so that we're protected.
And so every day we are struggling with the hypocrisy in our midst that we live in one of the wealthiest cities in the world, and yet people have to participate in a lottery system to get in a shelter bed for the night. We have 5 times as many homeless people on the street as we have shelter beds. Nearly 2/3 of the families with children in public housing in this country have been in public housing for more than 20 years.
But they want to build luxury
They are
housing.
trapped in islands of despair, discomfort, discontent, and for many of our children, broken dreams. And so all of us, this is a country that represents all of us. We have to say that enough is enough. As Paul said earlier, nothing will be given to us without a fight. There is no progress without struggle. If they want it bad enough, we have to fight for it. We have to make the case that our home is actually the Constitution of the United States. That is the home for homeless people. because the 14th Amendment talks about due process. The 6th Amendment of the Constitution talks about a right to counsel. It does not talk about the right to counsel for poor people. It does not talk about due process for poor people. We apply the opposite logic for wealthy people that we do for poor people. When we give wealthy people money, it's called an incentive. When we give poor people money, it's called a disincentive. We say that the last thing you want to do for a poor person is to give them money.
All right, brother, come on now.
And although it's true in the city and county of San Francisco that we no longer have a manufacturing economy, the one thing that we do make in this city every day is money. There is money for everything if we want it bad enough.
Say it again.
You have to decide to yourself how hard you want to fight this struggle.
That's right.
Yes, we lost last year, but we're not defeated. We get our hearts broken every day, but they can never break our spirit. So I am asking you to look to your left, look to your right, and say we are partners in this struggle. We are in this fight to the end. God bless all of you.
That's what we've got here. We've got power in the streets today. That's exciting, right? So I work at the California Partnership. We're a statewide coalition of anti-poverty organizations. Yeah! Yeah! And we pay close attention to the state budget every year. State budget is a moral document that tells us what what the governor of California and what the government of California cares about and what they don't. So folks may have heard that the deficit is over, that there's no more deep budget cuts happening. So we were hoping this year that we would start to chip away at the grinding poverty in California. California has the largest, the highest percentage of poverty of any state in the country. You can boo that. What that means to me is that we need a deep investment in things like housing, healthcare, CalWorks, which is the welfare to work program, programs that lift people out of poverty, give folks dignity in their lives. What the governor said on January 10th is that he wants to invest in debt and prisons. Debt and prisons were all the governor wanted to invest in on January 10th. We can boo that too, right? So what we've got to do, what the Homeless Bill of Rights says to me, and what the movement of you all doing says to me, is that we can't be silent, we can't be satisfied with this being the new normal. What's happening in our state being the new normal, that we're just going to pretend that the deep budget cuts of the last 10 years didn't happen, that we're just going to accept that 8.7 million Californians are living in poverty, we're just going to accept that nearly a quarter of all children in California are growing up in poverty. We're not going to accept it. We're not going to accept it. What this says, what the Homeless Bill of Rights says, is that we are people too. Poor people are people too. All people in California deserve a place to live, dignity, and respect. So I think we're going to move on to City Hall in a second. But I want to hear from you. What are your values? Homes, not jails. 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 Homes, not jails.
In honor of the statement that it ain't a revolution if you can't dance to it, BLO's going to do a number for us now. We'll go over to City Hall, we'll have open mic and some more music, but let's